He is back in a Saluki
Yes,
uniform, and it's
sir.
so great to have my fellow Indiana brother, Sheridan
My guy.
Sharp, yes, who's back. Of course, had a great, outstanding prep career at Ben Davis High School just in the Indianapolis area, and now with year two for the Salukis. Sheridan, year two, man. I'm sure year one went by in a blink of an eye,
Man,
but how does Sheridan Sharp feel this summer compared to going through a summer ago?
I feel good, man. Just I had to, take a big step, changing my body, changing a lot in my game, and just getting adjusted and stuff to the right aspect. And right now, I feel like I'm going up and growing every day and getting better. And like that's my biggest thing. Not playing last year, boost off of. I want to say, like it gave me something like that. I wanted to like use this as motivation. Like playing behind X and stuff like that. I kind of sat back and watched a lot. Like a lot of stuff he did. He taught me a lot, and I picked up on like some of the things he taught me. So yeah, it was a good experience.
Definitely want to get into that in a moment of you getting to learn from a guy like Xavier Johnson. But everyone knows Indiana high school basketball is a big deal.
Yes, sir.
It's even bigger when you're on teams that win.
Mm-hmm.
And you were definitely on teams that won a lot at Ben Davis. That experience of playing with so many talented guys around you in a state that loves its basketball, how has that really helped you transition to a place where here Banterra is packed? It's a great environment where this community embraces basketball a ton like it was where you were at in Indianapolis.
So yeah, it's like Ben Davis and SIU kind of have a lot of similarities. The fan bases and stuff like they love SIU basketball, and Ben Davis we love like the fan base at Ben Davis they love SIU, and like the community, like when you winning and stuff, like everybody wants to see winning. Like it makes the whole town go crazy. Once you talk around town, like it makes everything go good. And so yeah, like both of the two schools that I was at, like I really love it so far, especially SIU. Like I can see a lot of similarities between SIU and Ben Davis, like I said.
It is different once you get to this level, Sheridan, but also winning is winning.
Yes,
And
sir.
if you're used to winning, you really had that same fabric that you can bring with you. What was it about the winning fabric at Ben Davis that you were able to learn from and that you're hoping to continue to bring here to SIU?
The winning aspect I feel like that we learned from was really just working hard every day. Like a lot of teams not gonna be willing to put in the extra work. They just gonna do the bare minimum, and that's gonna separate championship teams from mediocre teams. So yeah.
Talking about those sacrifices
Yeah.
and knowing that's what it takes to get to where you ultimately go. What are some of the biggest sacrifices that you focus on that I have to sacrifice this to be able to get me to where I want to go?
Yeah, I gotta make a lot of sacrifices. Like, like partying on the weekends and stuff. Like, I stopped doing that once I got to college and stuff like that. And like when you're a teenager and stuff, like you go on a party with your friends and stuff like that, and it's gonna be hard, to like, cause you grew up with them and stuff, and like you want to go do fun things, but like when you're a basketball player, like this kind of like your job now, and it's like it's just a business, so you gotta sacrifice a lot if you want to get to the big goal and be successful.
How you handle a situation is obviously different from another player or guy elsewhere in the country, and that doesn't mean anything other than it's just different.
Yeah.
But when you go through a coaching change, it's never easy.
Yeah.
But you stayed rooted. Never, to my knowledge, entered the portal. You just stayed put where you were at and gave Coach Nagy an opportunity. Through that whole time, Sheridan, what did you see as the best fit of, okay, I know I committed to Southern. I really like the school, the surroundings, the team you were a part of. How did you navigate it? What were the biggest things that you tried to at least be able to push yourself through to make the right decision for Sheridan Sharp?
I feel like I had like a few reasons why I didn't enter the portal. Well, one of them was like, like I like SIU. I like the location that I am. I like the fan base. I like the whole atmosphere. Like it's a great atmosphere to be a part of. I seen it being, part of the team last year. Like when we was winning and stuff, it was a lot. Like it's exciting to be here, like to play in front of the fans, to be a part of the games after we get that big win.
Absolutely.
The locker room go crazy. The SIU Saluki fans, they going crazy, and it's just a good feeling. And like I feel like Tim, Tim, I trusted Tim, that he was gonna bring in a good coach, and he brought in an amazing coach, Coach Nagy, and I'm just putting my trust into him. And I know I looked at him, his history, he got a winning history. Everything, I like the way he's trying to play. Like I like everything that I'm seeing so far. So that was kind of one of the biggest reasons why I kind of stayed. Yep.
before we ultimately move forward and kind of talk about this current team and the excitement you guys are building this year, last year you got to be behind arguably not just one of the best players in our league, but one of the best players in college basketball, and Xavier Johnson. When you first got here and you got to learn from X, what immediately did you pick up on in terms of just his habits, how he worked, and what you really tried to embody and take on your own?
He kind of separated himself, like the year before, his senior year, like the year before that, like he really wasn't like he worked hard, but he told me that like his senior year he worked even harder, and like the success, it showed that whole year. Like he separated himself from other players and stuff and did the extra work. And like the summertime, I used to always see him in the gym. We had weights at 8 a.m. He in the gym at 6, with a full sweat going, and that kind of motivated me this year, to like just like put in the extra work, because at the end of the time it's going to pay off, and now he's working out for NBA teams, and he got a lot of success, a lot of accolades, and he helped us with winning and stuff, and so like he affected the game for us a lot. And so I just was just learning and stuff like that. He was an amazing leader, role model, and yeah.
Everybody saw the games, but what's great about the position I'm in is you really get to see the practices and a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff with you guys. And there were so many times in practices where, of course, X, he's hard for anybody to stop.
Yeah.
And then you are in charge at times in practice to have to try to learn from him that way.
Yeah.
Going up just against him in practice. We talk about all the other intangibles, but yes, you're a younger guy, true freshman against a big body like X.
Yeah.
But going through those battles and going through those practices, what do you remember about those that are maybe really sitting with you now where you've really been able to transform your body a bit?
I feel like, as a freshman, going against a senior and big guy like you said, like it helped me like a lot on the defensive end, like going at him every day, the body, the bangs and stuff like that. You kind of like learn and pick up like the moves and stuff, because I'm a skinny guy, kind of scrawny, so I got to be a little smarter, and I'm quicker, so I can beat people to their spot. And so with him, like just getting used to guarding him. Like he was one of the top scorers, and like that kind of, like I said, helped me with the defensive side. So with him, like he was, a person who wanted to go right. This is the example. For him, he was a person who kind of like going right more. And so like once I picked up on that, I kind of like wanted to force him left. So like, and him being a big guy, he can still get to his right hand. But that's the thing. If I make him, shade him to his left hand and come back right, I can be ready for that when he do come back right and get the steal. So just picking up on just different defensive strategies and stuff like that made me a better defensive player.
Even though the playing time wasn't necessarily there for you, Sheridan, you went to every game, you were on every trip, at every practice. I mean, you were a huge part of the group last year in that way. Wasn't like the team was that far off.
Yeah.
There are a lot of games that came down to those final 4 or 5 minutes, and the games that did go our way, ultimately those last 4 or 5 minutes were a big reason why it did. If it didn't, those last 4 or 5 minutes were a big deal.
Yeah.
What do you take away just from last year of the positives and the things that, no doubt, you guys showed where you could be against some of the elite teams in the league, but also the learning and maybe some growing pains that you have to take away?
I feel like, it's being a person who, kind of just on the outside and just seeing in, like the games that we won, we played together and stuff, and like everybody contributed and put their all into it. We didn't break as a team, but like the games that, that we lost and had a tough time, when we faced adversity, sometimes we broke. And like sometimes people went their separate ways instead of just coming together and staying together the whole game. Like it kind of broke us down a little bit. And that's just really what separates championship teams, like I said previously, from mediocre teams, just staying together the whole way. Because I feel like, if all five is into the game, it should go down to the wire. If we play hard, if we come out playing hard, we should finish the game playing hard, not, going down,
Relationships are so important, not just with your coaches, but of course your teammates. One of them, Kennard Davis. I know you can't stand it all. You never spend any time around Kennard. We never see you guys around each other. Saying that all because that's a lie. You guys are always around each other, tight at the hip. I asked it to Kennard in his interview, but what do you remember about just getting to know Kennard? Now, granted, you both were freshmen, so you're coming in learning the same things, but what was it just about the dynamic of both of you where you guys have bonded, it seems like, from day one?
With Kennard, we kind of like have similarities in our lifestyles. Like we just went through a lot of the same stuff, kind of grew up with similar, like I said, lifestyles. But, like, that's my guy, and, like, I just always gave him advice and stuff. Like, I didn't play, so, like, I would just always just look and watch the game, just learning and stuff. And, like, he was a guy that played, and I used to always just talk to him, like, when he got down in the game, like, could have did this, could have did that. I'm just, just seeing him and helping him out because, I want to see him do good and be a great player, And I'm sure it's the same way, vice versa. So, yeah, that's my guy.
When you go through so many battles, to have somebody like Kennard with you, how does that just help in so many different areas, Sheridan, of you just know that you kind of have your guy that you've been through so many battles with, continuing to stay with you through this change?
It's good, like I should just have somebody who, like I said previously, go through the same problems as me. So we all always just vent to each other, just sitting down and talking about like what's going on and stuff. And like he can just give me his opinion on one thing and I can give my opinion on another thing. And like we just talk through a lot. We talk about a lot, like basketball, off the court stuff at home. We just always try to be there for each other, So, yeah.
Who's the better 2K player between you two?
Me. Ain't nobody beat me.
Ain't nobody beating you.
Nobody beat me.
Nobody, even the new guys on the team?
Ain't nobody beat me, I'm trying to tell you.
Okay. Nobody, wow, all right.
Ain't nobody beat me.
All right, Sheridan Sharp, officially the 2K champion for the Salukis this year. Let's get to this team. 10 newcomers. You obviously, Jarrett coming back with Kennard. You guys being one of the three that are coming back. How's it gelling, Sheridan, just from your standpoint?
It's going good. Like me, Jared, and Kennard, we all trying to be a leader, trying to keep the, Saluki fan base going and trying to keep the team, together and show them how it's supposed to be done. And it's all new. So it ain't going to be perfect, but as long as we stay vocal and keep putting in the work and making sure the team stay together, I feel like we're going to have a good season and a good year.
I mean this in a good way. When I ask you this question, describe the differences of maybe what's asked of you in a motion-type offense, which is what you're learning right now, compared to what you learned a year ago. What are the biggest changes, the biggest differences that now these are the areas where you really have to focus on, especially in your position being the point guard?
Motion-type offense, like I feel like now, you got to really just move without the ball, and it's not always going to be in the point guard's hands. Like I got to make plays for others off the ball, not just with the ball in my hands. So, like, sometimes, the three can bring the ball up. Sometimes maybe in the four, like Jared can bring the ball up, So just, getting everybody involved, just moving without the ball all the time. Like, not like with a motion offense, it ain't all, like I said, always be in my hands. So I just got to, contribute to the game off the ball, not just on the ball. So, yeah.
And Coach Nagy mentions how it can be a little clunky this time of year just because, one, of all the new pieces and all the new guys are starting to get to know it. But where do you feel this motion offense can be some of the strength of the team? Where can this offense bring out a lot of the strengths for all of you guys, not just yourself, but everybody on the roster?
I feel like we got a lot of strength with attacking and finishing around the rim. We good at that and just putting pressure on the defense and stuff. Just because we got so much length on the court, and another aspect I feel like we do good is on the defensive end. Like I feel like a lot of times we a transition team just so far, and I know that for sure. Just how we get up and down the court and just always going at it and just running. Like we can run this year a lot, and I feel like that's the difference between this team and last year's team is our transition offense and motion and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's going to be good this year.
I know you learned a lot of it from X in terms of getting into the gym early, getting extra reps in, see you guys all the time, getting extra work in outside of just the team hours that you have. But you understand the importance of this time, Sheridan. Describe not just the importance you seek of this time for you, but really the chip on the shoulder, the pride that you take in wanting to show that this is absolutely the spot where you need to be. And there's a lot that you can show the Saluki fans starting this year.
No doubt, man. Like I said previously, I didn't play last year, and it kind of I was going through a little. I would probably say I was going through a little dark time. Not playing. I was just playing at my high school and stuff, and I didn't let it try to get to me as much. But this year, I tried to take it a lot more seriously. Just my body, weight room, shooting, just trying to improve and stuff, and just keep climbing, keep getting better, and just using this as fuel, to motivate me and become a great player.
this may be a very silly question and in a way a basic question, but it's why I want to ask you it. The difference in your body. I mean, I think it's clear. You're bigger. You're definitely stronger. I think you've worked on so many different areas of your game. Where does it help you the most of once you do get bigger, stronger? Like now going through it this year, what are the differences for you where you're like, man, this is much easier now when I put in the work in the weight room?
Getting downhill, like I'm a kind of like, I guess, a fast player. I don't want to, toot my own horn, but I'm a fast,
You're
kind of
fast.
quick guy. And so once I typically get by my defender, I typically get a bump like on my hip, and so like getting stronger and stuff, I can normally take that bump and get around them and finish with contact around the rim. So yeah, I feel like getting stronger and like taking bumps and all type like just defense, like it's a lot of physicalities, like bigger guys, older guys, and just getting stronger was one of the biggest things that I feel like was like that I needed to do, because like just taking all them bumps and driving and finishing around rim, I gotta be able to finish that. So yeah.
Be able to finish and show that smile sometimes during the games, which of course we all see all the time. Sheridan, before we let you go, still a lot of summer left to go for you guys as a group. But what has you more optimistic? Each day, each practice, you guys come together. What's it about this team that's making you optimistic about what you guys can ultimately become, knowing there's still a lot of work to be done?
So far, like, I don't know how it is, but like we just a team that like play together already. Like we just got a lot of energy. We got, like I said previously, we got a lot of length on the court. Like we play together already, like we've been playing. Like we just know each other. We off the court, like we always with each other. Like we just got a lot of chemistry already as it is, and it might not look as best on the court right now, but like I feel like in the next couple of weeks we should be able to get going and play together like it looked like a team that we've been playing together for 2 years, So like I feel like the biggest thing is just us, our chemistry and the way we run transition wise and our new motion offense. I feel like that's gonna be the biggest things that is going to separate us and make us a championship level team.
I know personally for me, Sheridan, it's been great to see you with so much improvement this year and seeing how big of a summer you've had at this point. Excited to see it continue, and I know it seems like it's a ways away, but games are going to tip off here very, very soon. It's going to be an exciting time. Sheridan, thanks so much for the time, man. Appreciate it.
No doubt, my guy.